They're having fun. I think you have to be.
Excuse me, we're going to call the meeting to order, please. Good evening. This board is comprised of 7 members. 4 members of the board should constitute a quorum, and the affirmative vote of 4 members should be necessary for the adoption of any motion. If only 4 members of the board are present, the applicant may request and be entitled to a continuance to the next regularly scheduled meeting of the board. If a matter is to be continued due to the lack of quorum, the chairperson or secretary of the board may set a special meeting to consider such matter. In the event that 4 votes are not obtained, an applicant, except in the case of a comprehensive plan amendment, may request a continuance to or allow the application to proceed to the City Commission without a recommendation. Pursuant to Resolution 2021-118, the City of Coral Gables has returned to traditional in-person meeting. However, the Planning and Zoning Board has established the ability for the public to provide comment virtually. For those members of the public who are appearing on Zoom and wish to testify, you must be visible to the court reporter to be sworn in. Otherwise, if you speak without being sworn in, your comments may not be of any value. Lobbyist registration and disclosure. Any person who acts as a lobbyist must be registered with the city clerk as required pursuant to the city code. As chairperson, I now officially call the City of Coral Gables Planning and Zoning Board meeting of April 4th, 2023 to order. The time is 6:02. Emily, can you please call the roll?
Yes.
Here.
Present.
Here. Notice regarding ex parte communication. Please be advised that this board is a quasi-judicial board which requires board member to disclose all ex parte communication and site visit. An ex parte communication is defined as any contact, communication, conversation, correspondence, memorandum, or other written or verbal communication that takes place outside a public hearing between a member of the public and a member of the board regarding matters to be heard by the board. If anyone made any contact with a board member regarding an issue before the board member must state on the record the existence of the ex parte communication and the party who originated the communication. Also, if a board member conducted a site visit specifically related to the case before the board member must also disclose such visit. In either case, the board member must state on the record whether the ex parte communication and or the site visit will affect the board member ability to impartially consider the evidence to be presented regarding the matter. The board member should also state that his or her decision will be based on substantial competent evidence and testimony presented on the record today. Does any member of the board have such communication or site visit to disclose at this time?
No.
None? Okay. Sworn in. Anyone who speaks this evening must complete a roster on the podium. We ask that you print clearly so the official record of your name and address will be correct. Now, with the exception of the attorney, all persons physically in the City Commission chamber who will speak on the agenda item before us this evening, please rise to be sworn in.
You need to swear in the witness.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you. Zoom platform participant. I will ask any person wishing to speak on tonight's agenda's item to please open your chat and send a direct message to Emily stating that you would like to speak before the board and include your full name. Emily will call you when it's your turn. I ask you be concise for the interest of time. phone platform participant. After Zoom platform participants are done, I will ask the phone participant to comment on tonight's agenda's item. I will also ask you to be consistent for the interest of time. Now we'll ask for the approval of the minutes of March 8, 2023. Do I have a motion?
I move.
Second.
Emily, can you please call the roll?
Chip Withers,
Yes.
Benny Torre,
Yes.
Julio Gabriel,
Yes.
Claudia Mira,
Yes.
Robert Behar.
Yes, thank you. Procedure we'll use tonight. We will identify the agenda item by Mr. Culler. We will have a presentation by the applicant or agent. We'll have a presentation by staff. We will open up to public comment, first in chamber, Zoom platform, phone platform. We will close the public comment. We will have board discussion. Then we will entertain a motion discussion and the second motion. And then we'll have, the board will have final comments and vote. I guess we're ready. Mr. Collier, can you please
Yes.
start?
Mr. Chairman, we have two items on the agenda. They both are related, so I'm going to read both in, and we'll hold one public hearing for both items, and then we'll vote on the items separately.
Very well.
Item E1, an ordinance to the City Commission of Coral Gables, Florida, approving the vacation of a public right-of-way pursuant to Zoning Code Article 14, Process Section 14-211, Abandonment and Vacations, and City Code Chapter 62, Article 8, Vacation, Abandonment, and Closure of Streets, Easements, and Alleys by private owners in the city. Application process, providing for the vacation of 8,441 square feet of public right-of-way and dedication of 1,748 square feet between Lot 4, 5401 Banyan Trail, and Lot 5, 5400 Banyan Trail in Palm Vista, Coral Gables, Florida, providing for a repeal of a provision, severability clause, and providing for an effective date. Item E2, a resolution of the City Commission of Coral Gables, Florida, approving the tentative plat entitled Arcana Subdivision pursuant to Zoning Code Article 14, Process Section 14-210, platting subdivision being a replat consisting of two existing lots, which total 9,377 square feet.
97, excuse me.
I'm sorry, 97,377 square feet, excuse me, into modify two lots on property legally described as lots 4 and 5 Palm Vista, together with that portion of the vacated 50-foot platted right-of-way lying between lots 4 and 5, and dedication of 1,748 square feet between 5400 and 5401 Banyan Trail, Coral Gables, Florida, including required conditions, providing for a repeal of provision, severability clause, and providing for an effective date. Item E1 and E2 public hearing.
Thank you. Now we're going to have the applicant, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Joe Jimenez with Corina Partners, 2020 Sacero, on behalf of the owners of the property, Rob Barlick and Ana Maria Colina Barlick. And is this working yet? There we go. So the two subject properties here, as the attorney read to you, are located at 5400 and 5401 Banyan Trail. They are at the end of a currently platted cul-de-sac, divided down the middle, with the current plat looking like this. It is not paved, it is just the plat. The paved portion comes well short of the existing property line. It is to call it a cul-de-sac as it exists today is simply not doing it justice. It's a dead-end street. As we've included here some pictures of, right now it is impossible for any large truck to turn. Before the Barlicks owned the home, there was a fence put across the property, which is clearly encroaching on the platted right-of-way. But because their two lots are the ones at the end, I guess nobody ever noticed until we started looking around to improve it. Here you can see them at the end of the part where you see the white line is where the street is actually paved. And then obviously the public right-of-way continues into that platted cul-de-sac. And it's important to note that as it exists today, the platted cul-de-sac with the round turnaround does not meet county standards for the required radius that the county would require today.
Excuse me,
Yes, sir.
1 second, I just want to make sure I know where I'm, so if you come, the big green areas where St. Thomas Church is?
That's Mathis and Hammock.
That's, okay.
So you're in the base, now it's,
I got it.
it is not, yeah, you're upside down. It is right now, because there's so few streets into this, this is one of the last communities like Hammock Oaks or Gables Estates they're currently building a guardhouse off of Kendall that the city commission approved about 4 or 5 years ago.
Looking south here, basically?
Yes, right? No, that's north. That's oriented to the north.
Looking north.
Yes,
from the bottom.
that's oriented to the north.
Scouts thing is?
Yeah, that's a great, yeah, okay, I got it.
You with me?
I got it.
Okay. So this is what we are, again, what it is that's existing right now and what's going to be vacated. I'll show you in a second. But everything, we are also going to move the east-west lot line to make the northern lot slightly larger. But everything that's being done, none of it will create a non-conforming lot. None of it will be non-compliant with the code. So here is exactly what is to be vacated and what is to be dedicated. As you can see, what the city has asked for originally, and I'll give you a little history. Originally, we just made the turnaround bigger and closer to the property line on the west side. That would have required either the relocation or the removal of at least one, probably 2 trees. This is called Banyan Trail. There's trees everywhere. So the city said, okay, well, maybe there's another design that we can do and we can work around it. So Public Works and Fire agreed to this, basically a T turnaround. This isn't a high traffic area. The condition that exists today has lasted for years and probably would have lasted for years to come if we weren't planning on improving that vacant lot. So the dedication, and the reason I want to note it is because it seems like a land grab and it's not. We were actually giving more and the city said, you take it, but don't tear out the trees. So it winds up being an 869-foot dedication on the north, 879 feet to the south, with an 8,400 square foot abandonment by the city down the middle of the site. Again, if you look at the table provided, although we are making the southern lot smaller, it's still over an acre. It comes out to 1.02 acres with a minimum required in that area of 1 acre. And the northern lot gets to 1.22 acres, and that would wind up being a vacant platted lot, same way it is today. These are just surveys of the property. This is a very straightforward ask. The main reason for it is, given the setbacks in that area, if you were to try to redevelop that site on the north, you would be legally so close to that currently platted right-of-way that you couldn't build what other people in that neighborhood can build. These are big lots, some would say underdeveloped, but by getting this over in a compact, efficient manner, it allows for a non-variance redevelopment of a single-family home, much for what the lot was platted for.
So you're proposing 2 buildable lots?
No. There are 2 buildable lots there today.
So you're moving just the line to make one lot larger?
Slightly, yes, slightly, while keeping the second lot that is getting smaller compliant. It's still 0.2 acres bigger than it is required to be. And that's really it. Yes.
Can you go to the one that shows the T in color, I guess, the one that would show the entrance? Yeah, that one.
Oh, this one?
Let's go to the second one. So future entrances, if there was to be 2 different owners, would fall in that little
It would fall in that would basically be, the driveway would start
Correct. It'd have
to the
to be
north and to the south.
one there, one there. And the city's okay the way that programs as an entrance? Forgetting the turnaround for the fire trucks, the entrance methods so okay?
The city's blessed this already. So, I mean, the Public Works Director's here. I don't mean to throw him under the bus, but he can.
No, and you're right. And since he's here, and Mr. is here, I would like to call him up to get your your take on this, because it is, and you bring up a valid point, are the city going to be okay with the entrances?
To point one thing out before Herman speaks, the entrance to the south is already there. That is the way the entrance to the south is now. It comes in and turns, which I can, if you don't mind, excuse me, I'm sorry, Hermes, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. That upper left-hand picture of the six that are above and below each other, that is looking to the east.
So you're basically mirroring it on the north property, right?
Yes, so that's being taken facing east from the end of the street. So you turn right into that southern lot now. So it would be
A left turn to the
a
north.
left turn into the lot. Then it could be as designed. I haven't seen a site plan for that house. We're not there yet. So he has not been presented with an application showing that. This was designed to comply with the city's request for the trees and everything. So, but the southern entrance is existing. Sorry, Hermes.
So originally when,
For your name,
Hermes Diaz, Public Works Director. So originally when the applicant came to us, original request was to basically shift the cul-de-sac towards the boundary where the two properties starts. And in fact, we were asking that the cul-de-sac to be larger in order to facilitate the turning of emergency vehicles. But as they were going through the process, we realized that in order to make that happen, because the only purpose of the cul-de-sac is for a turnaround, otherwise what's the purpose of it? We realized there were some rather large trees. I'm not talking about smaller trees that you could relocate. I mean, there's some significant, and I don't know if you have any photos that could, I mean, that is a very nice.
I look, just look up.
It's like an oak, you know. So we realized that wasn't going to work. And in the interest of preserving those trees, that was the alternative that we all worked on to make sure that it could be built, provide the turning for the emergency vehicles while preserve the trees. And as far as the location of the driveway, at least from the Public Works perspective, we won't have any objections for it to be placed at that location.
as long as, you're comfortable
Right.
and you're fine with it,
Yes,
for me, it
absolutely.
works.
But I just wanted to give you a little bit of a history of how we got there.
Okay. Thank you. Now I'm gonna have staff, if we have a presentation, please come up.
Jennifer Garcia, City Planner. Right. So as you know, this is south of Sunset, south of Kendall Drive, at the very, very end of what's called Banyan Drive. It's on Banyan Trail, just off of that. Two properties we talked about, heavily vegetated. The zoning and land use are both single family. And the 5401 Banyan Trail, which is the north property, we know is vacant. And the south property has a single family house on it right now. So there's two requests, the vacation of the right-of-way and also the tentative plat. So both the vacation of the right-of-way and the tentative plat go through Development Review Committee, Planning and Zoning Board, and Commission. However, the tentative plat does go through the County Plat Committee. After that, the final plat's prepared, and it comes back to the Commission for adoption. So the first is the right-of-way vacation. So what you see is the green we talked about. The green cul-de-sac will be vacated, and dedication will be the blue rectangles to allow the T turnaround. And the tentative plat is basically just memorializing that vacation and dedication, as well as moving the property line slightly down south to allow the vacant lot to be larger. So it was reviewed by the DRC in January. It was, the applicant hosted a neighborhood meeting in February, and here we are for planning and zoning. So letters were mailed to the property owners within 1,000 feet of these two properties. And those letters went out twice from the neighborhood meeting and planning and zoning. And the property and the website were posted also twice, and it was advertised once in the newspaper. So staff determined this is consistent with the comp plan and recommends approval with conditions. There's 3 conditions, basically relocating those public utilities, including the fire hydrant, which would now, after the dedication, would be in the way of cars and trucks maneuvering on the asphalt, as well as the backflow preventer would have to be relocated, which is right now private property, and if this was vacated and dedicated, it'd be in public property. That'd be relocated to be in a private property. And then the applicant would basically build out the street. And that's it.
Perfect, thank you. Any question for the staff?
I just have one. So all the physical plant improvements will be done by the applicant?
Yes.
Or just the street? The movement of the water and all that is to be done by the applicant as well?
Correct.
As well?
I have one question. I don't know if it's for the applicant or the staff, but this seems pretty simple to me. I saw that you said you had a neighborhood meeting. Was there any pushback from any of the neighbors? Was there any concerns?
No, we had one couple show up. They just wanted, and their exact words to me, "We were invited, so we came." And they said, "Thanks, makes sense to us, okay, bye."
Very good,
And they're
thank you.
very nice people, and no, they weren't, and I know they're not shy, so they would have been here if they.
Thank you.
And a summary of that meeting was included in the packet that they
Okay,
submitted.
thank you.
Could you explain why the line is not in the middle, why one lot's bigger than the other? Looking at the picture, I can't quite understand.
So why?
The difference, yeah, if you did the T and you put the line in the middle, what's the reason for not having the two lots the same? It's just a choice of yours?
It was a choice of the property owners to make the one that would likely have the newer home be a slightly bigger.
Got it, okay. And in terms of supplying the two lots with sewer and water and whatever is there, those things exist and you're just gonna reconstruct?
Yeah, it would be up to us.
Back
It-
into feeding both properties?
Yeah, like I said, there will not be any more developable land when we're done here if you approve this. There are two platted lots, there will still be two platted lots. We're just moving the right of way to make it more efficient. We'll bring utilities from the mains and connect like we would anywhere else.
So, last question. Where the cul-de-sac was missing, currently missing, you're gonna put the T and asphalt the T in position? Not
As-
flat, or is it just a plat, or you are actually gonna build the,
It's a plat and we're gonna build it.
and you're gonna build the T?
That's one of the conditions we have to build it.
Okay.
So
Okay, thank you. Now, we're gonna open up to the public comments. Anybody, Emily, in the chamber?
No comments.
Anybody in Zoom platform?
One person.
Okay, can you please let them in?
Yes, yes, he's already in.
And we need to swear them in, correct, Mr. Attorney?
Yes, if they're going to appear.
I could,
If
Mr.
they're-
Rodriguez, if you'd like to speak, please unmute. Nothing.
Mr. Rodriguez? Well, maybe Mr. Rodriguez is not accessible.
Oh, it's not allowing him to unmute. Can he?
Okay, try again. Anybody in the phone lines platform?
Sorry, it wasn't allowing us to unmute,
Okay,
but nothing to say right now.
Mr. Rodriguez, if you wish to have your testimony as sworn testimony, you need to show yourself so that the court reporter can swear you in. If you-
Understood. Yeah, I don't need to be, so thank you.
okay.
What did he say?
He doesn't need to be sworn
He
in.
doesn't need to be sworn?
The
Okay,
testimony would just be for
for
information.
information, correct.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah,
Mr.
Yes, sir,
Rodriguez.
correct. Thank you.
Go ahead, please. Are you gonna speak? I guess not.
He says he doesn't need to be sworn in.
Oh, but is he,
Is he going to speak,
No,
though?
I don't believe so. He says.
Oh, he doesn't?
He's not, he won't be speaking.
okay.
Okay.
Then anybody in the phone lines?
No.
Okay, at this time, we're gonna close the public meeting, the comments, and we're gonna bring it up to the board. Julio, you could start.
I have no problem with it whatsoever.
Okay, Claudia,
I don't see any issues with this either.
Vinny,
Acceptable to me. I'm okay with it.
Chip.
All good, all good.
At this point, we're gonna close the board discussion. Do we have a motion?
Okay,
Motion.
so we're going to take them separately. So the first one would be a motion to approve in accordance with department recommendations on item E1.
So move.
I second.
Emily, can you please call the roll on E1?
Chip Withers,
Yes.
Benny Torre,
Yes?
Julio Gabriel,
Yes.
Claudia Miro,
Yes.
Robert Behar.
Yes.
So the next item, there should be a motion on E2 to approve in accordance with department recommendations.
Do we have a motion?
So move.
I second.
Emily, call the roll again, please.
Chip Withers,
Yes.
Benny Torre,
Yes.
Julio Gabriel,
Yes.
Claudia Miro,
Yes.
Robert Behar.
Yes. I think that's all the items tonight.
The
At
next-
this time, we make a motion to adjourn.
So
So
moved.
move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Wow, 6:25.
Right, for some reason it was being kept.
Can't complain.